having such amazing viewers like you. Tell us, which part of the world are you watching from today? Morning coffee or evening wind down? Share below. Now let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. The Illusion of Security. Ethan Thorne stared at the security monitor bank, his fingers drumming silently against the metal desk. 3 years of this mundane job had taught him patience, but tonight felt different. A message on his phone from Isabella lit up the screen. Working late with the girls. Don't wait up. Another lie. He touched the hidden tattoo beneath his collar. A coiled serpent, the mark of his former SEAL team. The sensation triggered memories of firefights, of brothers lost in combat, of a life where trust meant survival. Now he guarded an empty corporate building, playing the role of an ordinary security guard while his wife lived a fantasy funded by imaginary wealth. Hey, new guy, Ethan called out to the junior guard making his rounds. Take over the monitors. I need to make a sweep. The young guard nodded eagerly, unaware that his superior could kill a man 18 different ways with his bare hands. Ethan moved through the building with practiced ease, his footsteps silent despite his bulk. His phone buzzed again. Another message from Isabella, a selfie at some high-end restaurant with her girlfriends. But Ethan had long ago noticed the masculine hand at the edge of these photos, the reflection of a man in her wine glass. Back home, in their modestly luxurious apartment, Ethan began his search. Isabella's vanity drawer yielded nothing, nor did her jewelry box. But behind the vintage mirror, their third anniversary gift, his fingers found what they sought. A burner phone, cheap and practical. The message that greeted him sent ice through his veins. My husband is just a pathetic security guard. Wait till the Russian assassins make him disappear tonight. Then we'll be swimming in his family's fortune. Ethan's jaw clenched. The family fortune, a fiction he'd never claimed. The only money he had came from his dead teammates' trust fund, a fact known to no one. His parents had been school teachers, leaving him nothing but strong values and bitter memories. He scrolled through the messages, each one a dagger of betrayal. A name appeared repeatedly. Slick. Their conversations revealed a plot months in the making. Isabella and her lover, Damian Slick Reyes, had hired Russian assassins to eliminate him. They planned to flee to South America with his non-existent inheritance. Isabella, darling, he called out, hearing her key in the lock. How was your night? She entered, designer purse swinging from her arm, lipstick slightly smudged. Oh, just drinks with the girls. Sarah's going through another divorce? Sounds dramatic, Ethan replied, watching her move around the kitchen. You must be exhausted. Mom, she hummed, not meeting his eyes. I think I'll take a shower and head to bed. As the water ran, Ethan accessed his old encrypted channels on a secure laptop. Within minutes, he'd reached Marcus Hammerstone. Brother, it's Wraith. I need intel on Sergei Volkov. Goes by The Bear. Russian, ex-Spetsnaz, current hitman. Marcus's voice crackled through the secure line. Shit, Wraith. The Bear's no joke. He's taken out 3 high-level targets in the past month alone. What's your situation? My wife hired him to kill me. A low whistle. Damn, brother. Need backup? Not yet, but stay ready. I'm going hunting. Isabella emerged from the shower, wrapped in an expensive robe. You're still up? I thought you had an early shift tomorrow. Ethan smiled, a predator's expression that she mistook for affection. Just wanted to see you before bed. Love you. She kissed his cheek, her perfume mixing with another man's cologne. Love you too, baby. As she drifted off to sleep, Ethan began planning. The Wraith was awakening, and soon they would all learn why he'd earned that name in the first place. The next morning, while Isabella slept, Ethan reviewed the surveillance footage from their building's security cameras. He'd installed them months ago, sensing something amiss in his wife's behavior. The feed showed her meeting with 2 men in suits 3 days prior, Russians, based on their stance and movement patterns. Military trained. One had the distinctive gait of Spetsnaz. His phone buzzed, a message from Marcus. Bear confirmed in city limits. Arrived yesterday. Known safe house in Warehouse District. Ethan's response was brief, keep eyes on him. I'm setting up surveillance on primary target. He spent the next hour establishing observation points around their apartment, placing micro cameras in strategic locations. The bedroom, living room, and kitchen were soon under constant surveillance. Isabella's private conversations would no longer be private. When she finally woke, he was already at work, maintaining his cover. But through his phone, he watched her make calls, arrange meetings, and prepare for what she thought would be his last day alive. A video call caught his attention. Isabella, speaking to a well-dressed man, Damian Slick Reyes. "Everything's set," she said, twirling her hair. "The Russians will handle it tonight. They'll make it look like a robbery gone wrong." Slick's voice oozed confidence. "Baby, you're brilliant. That security guard won't know what hit him. And once we have his family money, we'll be set for life," Isabella finished, blowing a kiss at the screen. No more pretending to love a boring, pathetic man. No more acting impressed by his minimum wage job. What about the body? The Russians will dump it in the river. By the time they find him, we'll be in Belize. Ethan's knuckles whitened around his phone. 3 years of marriage, of sharing a bed, of playing the devoted husband, all while she plotted his death. The rage building inside him was cold, calculating, precise. His contact at the security company confirmed the Russians' visit. They'd posed as potential clients, touring the facility, learning his routine. Amateur mistakes. Real professionals would have maintained distance, studied patterns from afar. That night, lying beside Isabella, Ethan felt her tension. She kept checking her phone, making excuses to stay awake. Around midnight, she finally drifted off, likely assuming the deed would be done at his workplace. But Ethan knew better. A professional like the bear would strike at home, where the target felt safe. And he'd be ready. Chapter 2: Shadows and Secrets. The morning sun found Ethan at his security post, appearing no different than any other day. But beneath his uniform, he wore a lightweight tactical vest. His standard-issue security baton had been replaced with a custom model, heavier, designed for combat. In his ankle holster, a ceramic knife waited. His phone buzzed with updates from Marcus throughout the day. The bear had been observed meeting with contacts, gathering intelligence. Professional. Thorough. But he didn't know he was hunting another predator. During his lunch break, Ethan visited Dr. Evelyn Reed's office. The psychologist's reputation for discretion had drawn him to her practice months ago, when he'd first suspected Isabella's infidelity. "You seem different today," Dr. Reed noted, studying his posture. "More focused. What's changed?" "I discovered something," Ethan replied, choosing his words carefully. "About my wife. About myself. And how does that make you feel?" "Angry. But not hot anger. Cold. Like ice in my veins." Dr. Reed leaned forward. "That type of anger can be dangerous, Ethan. It can consume you, turn you into something you're not, or reveal what I've always been." He met her gaze. "What if the person I've been pretending to be isn't the real me? What if the monster is who I am?" "We're all capable of darkness," she replied. "The question is whether we let it control us or we control it." "Are you in control, Ethan?" His smile didn't reach his eyes. "More than ever." Back home, Isabella was a bundle of nervous energy. She flitted around the apartment, checking her phone constantly, barely able to maintain her facade of normalcy. "I made dinner reservations," Ethan announced, watching her reaction. "That new place you've been wanting to try. Tonight?" Panic flashed across her face. I'm not feeling well. Maybe another time?" "I insist." He stepped closer, noting how she tensed. "It's been too long since we had a proper date night." While she got ready, cursing under her breath and sending frantic texts, Ethan installed his surveillance equipment. Micro cameras and listening devices disappeared into vents, light fixtures, and picture frames. Soon, every corner of their bedroom was under observation. At dinner, Isabella barely touched her food. Her phone kept buzzing, messages from Slick, from the Russians, all wondering why their target wasn't where he was supposed to be. "Is everything okay?" Ethan asked, playing the concerned husband. "You seem distracted." "Fine," she snapped, then caught herself. "Just work stuff. You wouldn't understand. Try me?" She launched into a lengthy explanation about social media metrics and influence algorithms, lying as naturally as breathing. Ethan nodded along, noting how her hand trembled slightly when she lifted her wine glass. Later that night, while Isabella took another shower, probably to make another secret phone call. Ethan reviewed the footage from his newly installed cameras. She was on a video call with Slick, pacing their bedroom. What the fuck happened? Slick demanded. The bear had everything planned. I don't know. Ethan changed our plans at the last minute. Insisted on dinner out. The Russians won't wait forever. They want their money. They'll get it. Just tell them to do it tomorrow. At his work. It has to look like a robbery, remember? Ethan's source at the security company provided more details about the Russians' visit. They'd spent an unusual amount of time studying the camera layouts, asking about response times. They'd even noted the position of his desk, the angles of the security cameras. That night, lying beside his wife, Ethan felt her restlessness. She was probably imagining tomorrow, picturing his death, planning her new life with Slick. She had no idea that the bear and his team were already under surveillance, their movements tracked by Marcus and other former SEAL team members positioned around the city. The game had begun, but only one player knew all the pieces on the board. Chapter 3. The Sting of Deception. Ethan's earpiece crackled with Marcus's voice. Movement at the warehouse. Bear's on the move. Two-man team with him. Copy. Ethan whispered, careful not to wake Isabella. Maintain distance. Let them come to me. He'd prepared for this moment. Their apartment building's security system had been subtly modified. Cameras faced slightly wrong directions. Motion sensors had blind spots. All designed to give the bear confidence while channeling him towards specific approach routes. Marcus's team was positioned strategically. Rooftops, parked cars, the maintenance room. All invisible, all lethal. But this fight would be Ethan's alone. The first sign came at 2 a.m., a slight disruption in the Wi-Fi signal. The bear was good, using tech to disable security systems. But Ethan was better. He'd created a false network for them to attack, while the real ones silently recorded everything. At 2:15 a.m., the power went out. Right on schedule. They're entering through the service entrance, Marcus reported. Three-man team. Bears leading. Ethan moved silently through the darkness. Years of combat experience guiding his steps. He positioned himself in the kitchen, waiting. The front door's lock disengaged with a subtle click. The bear entered first, tall, muscular, moving with professional grace. His team spread out, weapons ready. They swept the living room efficiently, clearing corners, checking shadows. But they weren't looking up. Ethan dropped from his perch atop the refrigerator, landing behind the bear. His ceramic knife found the Russian's gun hand, severing tendons. The weapon clattered to the floor. The other two assassins spun, raising their weapons. But close-quarters combat was Ethan's specialty. He used the bear as a shield, forcing his teammates to hold their fire. His knife opened the first man's throat before he could shout. The second assassin managed to fire once, a silenced round that struck the wall. Ethan's counterattack was brutal. He broke the man's arm, then his jaw, then his neck, all in complete silence. The bear fought well, even injured. He landed several solid hits, his Spetsnaz training evident in every move. But Ethan had fought better, had killed better. You're good, Ethan whispered in Russian, blocking a strike. But I'm the Wraith. The bear's eyes widened in recognition moments before Ethan's knife found his kidney. The Russian dropped, blood pooling beneath him. Clear the scene, Ethan commanded through his earpiece. No evidence. No bodies. Marcus's team moved with practiced efficiency, removing the dead assassins, cleaning blood spatter, erasing any trace of combat. The bear, still alive but fading, was secured for transport. Taking him to the cabin, Marcus confirmed. Want me to finish him? No. He might be useful. Keep him alive. Isabella slept through it all, peaceful in her ignorance. When she woke the next morning, nothing seemed amiss. The apartment was clean, the power restored. Her husband had already left for work. But when she checked her phone, panic set in. No messages from the bear. No confirmation of success. She called Slick immediately. Something's wrong, she hissed into the phone. The Russians aren't responding. What do you mean they're not responding? I mean they're gone. No messages, no calls, nothing. And Ethan, he's acting strange. Like he knows something. Impossible. He's just a rent-a-cop. Probably working overtime again. But doubt had crept into Slick's voice. Professional killers don't just disappear. And their target wasn't acting like a man marked for death. At the cabin, the bear regained consciousness strapped to a chair. His wounds had been treated, painfully, without anesthesia. Marcus stood guard while Ethan prepared for interrogation. Your reputation in Chechnya is legendary, Ethan said, switching to Russian. The bear of Grozny. Tell me, how much did my wife offer you? The Russian spat blood. I don't talk to targets. I'm not a target anymore. Ethan leaned close. I'm the Wraith. Perhaps you've heard of Damascus? The compound raid. The bear's face paled. Everyone in their world knew about Damascus. An entire terrorist cell eliminated in one night. No survivors, no evidence. Just ghost stories about a SEAL team operator who moved like death itself. The woman, the bear said finally. She promised $2 million. Half up front, half after. Did she pay? No. Only promises. Her lover, the one called Slick, he guaranteed the money. Ethan nodded. You've been useful. Now you have a choice. Work for me. Help me destroy them both. Or join your team in unmarked graves. The bear considered his options. He'd seen Ethan fight, had witnessed firsthand why they called him the Wraith. And he recognized the look in the man's eyes. The cold fury of betrayal seeking release. I choose life, the bear said. And revenge against those who try to cheat me. Smart choice. Ethan turned to Marcus. Get him cleaned up? I have plans for our Russian friend. The pieces were in place. Isabella's perfect world was about to shatter, and she would learn why some ghosts were better left unavenged. Chapter 4. Confrontation and Consequences. Isabella paced nervously in the kitchen, her designer heels clicking against the tiles. The dining table was set perfectly, her attempt at normalcy on this particular evening. But her hands shook as she arranged the silverware, her mind racing with possibilities. No word from the bear. No confirmation. No bodies. Nothing. The door opened. Ethan walked in, his security guard uniform crisp, his movements controlled. Something smells good, he said, his voice neutral. She forced a smile. Just trying something new? They sat down to dinner, the silence between them thick with unspoken truths. Ethan watched her fidget with her wine glass, noting how her eyes darted to her phone. Looking for someone? He asked, sliding the burner phone onto the table. The color drained from Isabella's face. Where did you? Behind the mirror. Not very original. He placed a tablet next to the phone, playing a video of her conversation with Slick. Her own voice filled the room. The Russians will handle it tonight. I can explain, she stammered, knocking over her wine glass. Red liquid spread across the white tablecloth like blood. Explain what? Ethan's voice remained calm, terrifyingly so. How you plan my murder? How you and your lover hired assassins? Or perhaps how you plan to steal my family fortune, which, by the way, doesn't exist. What do you mean it doesn't exist? Panic crept into her voice. Your inheritance is from my dead SEAL teammate. In a trust one control. He leaned forward. You plotted my death for money you could never access. Isabella's composure cracked. It was Slick's idea, he said. Stop lying. The words cut like steel. I have everything. The messages, the videos, the recordings. Your entire plan, documented in detail. She tried another tactic, tears welling up. Baby, please. I was confused. Slick manipulated me. The tears won't work, Isabella. Ethan's expression hardened. You see, there's something you should know about your pathetic security guard husband. He unbuttoned his collar, revealing the coiled serpent tattoo. Have you heard of the Wraith? Recognition flickered in her eyes, followed by pure terror. Stories about the Wraith circulated in the darker corners of society. A ghost, a killer, a legend. No, she whispered. That's impossible. 3 days, he said, standing. You have 3 days to leave this house. After that, I start dismantling your life. Piece by piece. You can't do this to me. Her voice rose hysterically. I'll go to the police. Ethan laughed, a sound devoid of warmth. With what evidence? Your plot to have me killed? The Russian assassins you hired? Please do try to explain that to the authorities. He pulled out his phone, showing her the emails he'd already sent to her lawyer, her family, her business contacts. documentation of her plot, her affairs, her financial fraud. Your reputation is already in ruins. Your family knows everything. Even Slick has abandoned you. Check your phone. He hasn't responded in hours, has he? Isabella grabbed her phone, frantically scrolling through unanswered messages. What did you do? I'm just getting started. He headed toward their bedroom. 3 days, Isabella. Then you'll understand why they call me the Wraith. Marcus arrived later that night, after Isabella had locked herself in the guest room. The Bears secured at the new location. What's your next move? Start with Slick's finances, Ethan replied, reviewing data on his laptop. Hit him where it hurts most, his reputation, his money, his connections. I want him desperate before I confront him. And Isabella? Let her panic. Let her run to Slick. It'll make destroying them both easier. Dr. Reed's words echoed in his mind. Don't let the darkness consume you. But as he listened to Isabella's muffled sobs through the wall, Ethan embraced the cold rage within him. The darkness wasn't consuming him. It was empowering him. Chapter 5. The Web Titans. Isabella's world crumbled with frightening speed. Her attempts to contact family were met with disgust and rejection. Her father's message was particularly brutal. You plotted murder for money. You're no daughter of mine. She tried her modeling agency next, only to find her contracts canceled. Her social media accounts hemorrhaged followers as rumors spread about her involvement in criminal activities. Desperate, she called Slick's private number for the 100th time. This time he answered. Stop calling me, he hissed. Do you have any idea what's happening? My life is falling apart. I need help. Your life? My entire operation is under attack. Clients are pulling out, accounts are frozen, and someone's leaking details about deals that nobody should know about. It's Ethan, she whispered. He's not who we thought. He's the Wraith. Silence on the line. Then the Wraith? The SEAL assassin? You're married to the fucking Wraith? Please, you have to help me. Help you? I'm trying to save myself. The feds are sniffing around my businesses. My contacts are going dark. Even my lawyer won't take my calls. The line went dead. Isabella slumped against the wall, mascara-stained tears running down her cheeks. Her designer clothes and expensive jewelry felt like cheap costumes now. Across town, Ethan sat in Dr. Reed's office, his posture relaxed but alert. You're dismantling their lives, she observed. How does that make you feel? Satisfied, he met her gaze. They plotted my death for money that wasn't even real. Actions have consequences. Revenge can be a poison, Ethan. It can hollow you out, leave you empty. This isn't just revenge, he countered. It's justice. They're criminals, manipulators. I'm protecting others by exposing them. And after? When they're destroyed, what then? The question hung in the air. Ethan considered it carefully. I rebuild. Start fresh. But first, they need to understand the magnitude of their mistake. Meanwhile, Detective Petrova was connecting dots she didn't like. Too many high-profile figures were suddenly facing scandals, their secrets exposed. Look at this, she told her partner, spreading photos across her desk. Damian Reyes, known associate of multiple criminal enterprises, but never enough evidence to charge him. Suddenly, his entire operation is exposed. Bank records, client lists, everything could be rival criminals, her partner suggested. No, this is different. This is... She searched for the word, professional. Military precision. And it all leads back to that security guard, Ethan Thorne, the one whose wife just lost everything. Seems like a victim to me. Petrova shook her head. No victim moves like he does. I've been watching him. He's trained, highly trained. And now people connected to his wife are falling like dominoes. Back at his apartment, Ethan reviewed the intelligence from his network. Slick's empire was crumbling. The Bears' contacts in the criminal underworld had spread rumors of betrayal, causing Slick's partners to distance themselves. Anonymous tips to federal agencies had triggered investigations into his businesses. Marcus arrived with fresh intel. Slick's getting desperate. He's trying to move assets offshore, calling in favors. Want me to intervene? No, Ethan replied, checking his watch. Let him run. The trap's already set. Chapter 6. The Labyrinth of Lies. The abandoned warehouse loomed in the industrial district, its metal walls reflecting the city lights. Slick arrived in his expensive car, two bodyguards flanking him. His usual smooth confidence was gone, replaced by nervous energy. Ethan waited inside, dressed in plain clothes, appearing unarmed and unthreatening. He watched through security cameras as Slick and his men entered. "Careful, boss," one guard warned, checking corners. "This feels wrong." "Shut up," Slick snapped. "Just find him." Ethan stepped out of the shadows. "Looking for me?" The guards drew weapons. Ethan moved faster than they could track. The first guard's wrist snapped, his gun clattering away. The second received an elbow to the throat, dropping him instantly. "Impressive security," Ethan commented, standing over the groaning men. "About what I'd expect from someone who hires cut-rate assassins." Slick backed away, his suit soaked with sweat. "Listen, man, this is all a misunderstanding." "Is it?" Ethan produced a folder. "Your financial records, your client list, the money you've stolen, the people you've conned, including my wife. She came to me." Slick protested. "Said you had family money, wanted help accessing it. So you suggested murder?" Ethan's voice turned arctic. "Hired the bear to kill me. Tell me, how's that working out?" Recognition dawned in Slick's eyes. "The rumors, the attacks on my business, that was you? You plotted my death. Seems fair I dismantle your life in return." Ethan stepped closer. "Now we can do this two ways. You surrender to the police, face your crimes. Or we handle this personally." Slick's face contorted with rage. He pulled a hidden gun, firing wildly. Ethan moved like smoke, the bullets hitting nothing but air. The fight was brief and brutal. Ethan broke Slick's fingers one by one, then his ribs, then his jaw. He left him conscious, just barely zip-tied on the floor. "The police will be here soon," Ethan informed him. "They have enough evidence to bury you for decades. Your clients have abandoned you. Your assets are frozen. Your reputation is destroyed." He knelt beside Slick's battered form. "Remember this pain. Remember who caused it. And if you ever think about revenge, remember, I'm the Wraith. I'll be watching." Outside, Ethan called Isabella's burner phone. She answered on the first ring. "Where are you?" she demanded. "What's happening?" "Slick just learned an important lesson about consequences," Ethan replied coldly. "Your turn's coming." "How does it feel, knowing your lover chose himself over you? Knowing your family has abandoned you?" "This is just the beginning, Isabella. Your hell is just starting." He hung up, listening to police sirens approaching the warehouse. Detective Petrova would find Slick and his men, along with enough evidence to ensure convictions. But she'd find nothing linking it to Ethan. Marcus waited in a nearby car. "You could have killed him. Death is too quick," Ethan replied, watching police cars surround the warehouse. "I want them to live with their failure, to remember who destroyed them." His phone buzzed, a message from the bear, confirming his position watching Isabella. Everything was proceeding according to plan. The woman who thought she could manipulate him, who saw him as nothing but a pathetic security guard, was about to learn why some predators hide in plain sight. Chapter 7. The Serpent Strike. Isabella huddled in her dingy studio apartment, a far cry from the luxury she once knew. Her phone buzzed with another notification. Someone else had unfollowed her social media accounts. Her follower count, once in the hundreds of thousands, had dwindled to mere hundreds. Her laptop screen displayed the leaked information: bank statements showing massive debt, credit card fraud, tax evasion. While her name wasn't directly mentioned, anyone who knew her could connect the dots. Her carefully crafted image of wealth and success lay in ruins. A knock at the door made her jump. "Who is it?" No answer. Just another knock. She peered through the peephole. The hallway appeared empty. When she turned around, a man in a clown mask stood inside her apartment. Isabella screamed, but the man moved with lightning speed, clamping a hand over her mouth. She recognized his accent immediately. The bear. "Sit down," he commanded, releasing her. "I bring message from your husband." She collapsed onto a cheap folding chair, her dress, one of the few possessions she'd managed to keep, wrinkling beneath her. "How did you—" Silence. The bear placed an envelope on her table. "Read it." With trembling hands, she opened the envelope. Inside was a printout of her original message plotting Ethan's murder, along with detailed documentation of her crimes. A handwritten note at the bottom read, "Remember why you're here. Mr. Thorne wants you to understand." The bear continued, his voice emotionless. "This is your life now. No escape. No redemption. Just consequences. He sent you to kill me?" The Russian assassin laughed. "Kill you? No. Death is mercy. He wants you to live, to remember. Each day when you wake in this rat hole, when you check your empty bank accounts, when you see happy couples walking past, you will remember what you lost, what you threw away." He moved to the window. "I respect your husband. He showed me mercy when he could have killed me. Now I serve him willingly. Remember that even those you hired to kill him now work for him." The bear vanished as silently as he'd appeared, leaving Isabella alone with her thoughts and the damning evidence of her betrayal. Across town, Ethan watched the scene unfold through hidden cameras he'd installed in Isabella's apartment. Marcus stood beside him, monitoring multiple screens. "The bear played his part well," Marcus commented. "You sure about letting him live?" "He's more valuable alive," Ethan replied. "His contacts, his intelligence network, all mine now. Besides, he understands respect, loyalty. Something Isabella never learned. Speaking of loyalty, your old SEAL team's been asking about you. They've heard rumors about the Wraith's return." Ethan nodded. "Let them wonder for now. I'm not done here yet." A notification popped up on one screen. Isabella's latest attempt to access her frozen accounts had failed. Another showed her social media stats plummeting. Her friends were abandoning her in droves, afraid of being associated with her scandal. "Your wife's breaking down," Marcus observed. "She's not my wife anymore." Ethan's voice held no emotion. Just a snake without fangs. Dr. Reed's office was Ethan's next stop. The psychologist listened as he detailed Isabella's isolation, her growing desperation. "You're watching her suffer," she noted. "Does it bring you peace?" "Peace isn't the goal," Ethan replied. "Justice is. And after justice? What then?" "I rebuild. But first, she needs to understand the depth of her betrayal, the consequences of her choices." Dr. Reed leaned forward. "You're punishing her by making her live as an ordinary person, the very thing she despised you for being. Ironic, isn't it?" A cold smile crossed his face. "She thought being a security guard made me pathetic. Now she'd give anything for that level of stability." Meanwhile, Detective Petrova added another photo to her investigation board. The bear's appearance at Isabella's apartment hadn't gone unnoticed. "Another connection," she muttered, drawing a line between images. The Russian assassin, now working for someone else. The same someone dismantling criminal enterprises across the city. Her partner shook his head. "You're obsessed with the security guard theory. Because it fits." She stabbed a finger at Ethan's photo. "Look at his military record, what we can access of it. Special operations, classified missions. Then he suddenly becomes a security guard? And now his wife's life falls apart. Her lover's in jail, and criminal empires are crumbling. Circumstantial, at best. Maybe, but I'm watching him. He'll slip up eventually." Chapter 8. The Price of Betrayal. Ethan maintained his security guard routine, but changes were happening beneath the surface. His contacts in the military and intelligence communities had reactivated, offering opportunities, contracts, consulting work. Even his appearance had shifted subtly. His posture more natural, predatory grace, no longer hidden. The mask of the simple security guard was falling away, revealing the warrior beneath. "You seem different," a coworker commented during a shift change. "More confident." Ethan smiled. "Just finally being myself." Dr. Reed noticed the change too during their sessions. "You're not pretending anymore," she observed. "How does that feel?" "Like breathing properly after holding my breath for years." He paused. "I created the security guard persona to escape my past, but denying who I am. That was the real prison." And Isabella? Still watching her. Less now. Her suffering has become routine, predictable. Through his surveillance, he watched her failed attempts to rebuild her life. Job applications rejected. Loan requests denied. Former friends blocking her calls. The isolation was crushing her more effectively than any physical punishment could. Detective Petrova wasn't giving up, though. She cornered Ethan outside his workplace one afternoon. "Mr. Thorne," she called out. "Got a minute?" He turned, face neutral. "Detective, what brings you here?" "Just following up on some cases. Strange coincidences keep piling up around you." "Do they?" "Your wife's lover in jail. Her entire life destroyed. Russian assassins changing allegiances. Lot of coincidences." Ethan met her gaze calmly. "Life's full of them. Anything specific you want to ask?" "Where were you the night Damian Reyes was assaulted?" "Working. Check the security logs. Camera footage too, if you'd like." Petrova's eyes narrowed. "And the cameras show you at your desk all night?" "Of course. Where else would I be?" They both knew the footage had been altered, but proving it was another matter. Ethan had been meticulous in covering his tracks. "You're not what you appear to be, Mr. Thorne. None of us are, Detective. That's what makes life interesting." Back at his apartment, Ethan reviewed plans for his new security consulting firm. His reputation in certain circles, combined with the Bears' connections, had created unique opportunities. Marcus arrived with updates. Business registrations complete. Clients already lined up, legitimate ones with deep pockets. "Ready when you are." "Good. Time to step out of the shadows, build something new." "What about Isabella?" Ethan pulled up her surveillance feed. She was sitting in her apartment, crying over old photos of her luxurious life. Let her cry. Let her remember. That's punishment enough. Chapter 9. The Serpent Ascends. Detective Petrova's final attempt to corner Ethan came during a routine interview at the police station. She'd gathered all her evidence, circumstantial though it was. "You're the Wraith," she stated flatly. "Former SEAL, legendary operator. Now playing vigilante." Ethan's expression didn't change. "Interesting theory. More than a theory. Your military record, the timing of certain operations, your wife's sudden downfall, Reyes's empire collapsing. It all fits." "Does it?" "Sounds like speculation to me." "Why this game?" Petrova demanded. "Why pretend to be something you're not?" "Detective who says I'm pretending. Maybe this is exactly who I am. A security guard who just happens to be connected to the systematic destruction of criminal enterprises?" Ethan leaned forward. "Or maybe I'm something else entirely, and you're chasing shadows. Either way, you have no proof, no evidence, nothing but theories." He stood to leave. "It's been interesting, Detective. Good luck with your investigation." Later that evening, Ethan hosted a reunion of his former SEAL team. They gathered in a private room at an exclusive club. Warriors disguised as businessmen, killers in tailored suits. "The Wraith returns," his former commander said, raising a glass. "We've heard interesting stories." "Stories are just stories," Ethan replied. "Not these ones. Taking down criminals, protecting the innocent, while maintaining perfect deniability. That's your signature move." The team shared knowing looks. They'd all seen the news, recognized the patterns. Their brother hadn't gone soft during his retirement. He'd simply changed battlefields. "The security guard act," another teammate asked. "Was any of it real?" "All covers have elements of truth," Ethan said. "But it's time for something new." They discussed a security firm, offered connections, resources. The brotherhood remained strong, unbroken by time or distance. As the night wound down, his commander pulled him aside. "Your wife. Word is she's suffering." "Ex-wife," Ethan corrected. "And yes, she is." "Good. Betrayal has a price. She's paying it." Across town, Isabella sat in her apartment, staring at her reflection in a cracked mirror. Her designer clothes were gone, replaced by cheap department store items. Her perfectly maintained appearance had crumbled along with her life. The bear's words echoed in her mind. Death is mercy. Now she understood. Each day brought fresh humiliations, new reminders of her fall. The man she dismissed as a pathetic security guard had orchestrated her complete destruction without ever laying a hand on her. Detective Petrova watched Ethan's building from her unmarked car, knowing her surveillance was pointless. He'd won, outmaneuvered them all, and done it legally enough that she couldn't touch him. The perfect operation, she muttered. Just like the Wraith's reputation. The next morning, Ethan walked into his new office suite. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the city where he'd played the role of a simple security guard. Now he was building something new, something legitimate but powerful. Marcus joined him at the window. Coming full circle, brother. The serpent sheds its skin. Not full circle, Ethan corrected. Forward. Always forward. He touched the serpent tattoo on his neck, no longer hidden. The Wraith wasn't a mask anymore, wasn't a legend or a codename. It was simply who he was, a warrior who'd found his true battlefield. Isabella would live with her choices, haunted by the knowledge that she'd had everything and thrown it away. Slick would rot in prison, his empire in ruins. Detective Petrova would chase shadows, always knowing but never proving the truth. And Ethan? He would build his new life, stronger for having faced betrayal, wiser for having survived it. The security guard was gone, but the Wraith remained, watching from the shadows, ready to strike when justice demanded it. The serpent had indeed risen from the ashes, not as a phoenix seeking redemption, but as a cobra, cold, calculating, and eternally vigilant. Epilogue, 5 years later. Ethan Thorne stood at his office window, the city sprawling beneath him. Thorne Security Solutions occupied the top 3 floors of a downtown high-rise, a far cry from his days as a simple security guard. His company had become the premier security consulting firm in the country, specializing in corporate protection, threat assessment, and specialized training. Mr. Thorne, his assistant's voice came through the intercom. Your 2 o'clock is here. Detective Petrova, send her in. Anya Petrova entered, now wearing the badge of a police captain. Their relationship had evolved from adversaries to reluctant allies over the years, though she never stopped watching him closely. Still keeping that view of the security company where you used to work, she asked, noting the direct line of sight to his old post. Nostalgia, perhaps? Ethan gestured to a chair. What brings you here, Captain? Damian Reyes is up for parole next month. Ethan's expression didn't change. I'm aware. His lawyer claims he's reformed. Found God. Wants to make amends. And you're telling me this because... Petrova leaned forward. Because 3 of his former associates have vanished in the past week. No bodies, no evidence. Just gone. Reminds me of old stories about the Wraith. I run a legitimate business now, Captain. Check my alibi for those dates. I was giving a keynote speech at a security conference in Dubai, with multiple witnesses and video evidence. Perfect alibi. She paused. Almost too perfect. Ethan smiled. Are you suggesting I had something to do with their disappearances? No. I'm suggesting the bear did. Under orders from someone, their eyes met in silent understanding. Over the years, Sergei the Bear Volkov had become Ethan's shadow enforcer, handling problems that required a less legitimate touch. His loyalty, earned through respect rather than fear, never wavered. Interesting theory, Ethan replied. Unprovable, of course. Like everything else about you. Petrova stood. Just remember, I'm still watching. You wouldn't be good at your job if you weren't. After she left, Ethan activated a secure line. Update. The bear's accented voice responded. Reyes won't make parole. His remaining supporters have been discouraged. The evidence you provided to the board will ensure he serves his full term. Good. And Isabella, still working as a waitress in Phoenix. No social media presence, no contact with her old life. She tried dating a wealthy businessman last month, but anonymous tips about her past ended that quickly. Ethan had kept tabs on his ex-wife, not out of lingering attachment, but to ensure she never rebuilt her capacity for harm. The once proud social media influencer now lived in a small apartment, working double shifts to make rent. Her attempts to reclaim her former glory were met with immediate, anonymous resistance. Marcus Hammer Stone entered the office, now Thorne Security's chief of operations. Just got word from Dr. Reed. She's retiring next month. Dr. Evelyn Reed had continued as Ethan's confidant and unofficial advisor, helping him balance justice with vengeance. Her guidance had proven invaluable as he built his new empire. Send her something nice, Ethan instructed, and make sure her retirement fund is properly supplemented. She earned it. Marcus nodded. Also, the military contract came through. Full training program for their special operations units, plus consulting on 6 black sites. The irony wasn't lost on either man. The security guard facade had given way to a legitimate operation that worked directly with the forces they'd once served in. Thorne Security's training programs were now considered elite, drawing from both Ethan's SEAL experience and the Bears' Spetsnaz background. "Any word from our sources about Isabella's family?" Ethan asked. "They're still maintaining their distance. Her father died last year. Heart attack. She wasn't mentioned in the will, wasn't invited to the funeral. As far as they're concerned, she doesn't exist." The complete isolation had been part of Ethan's strategy. Not just financial ruin or social humiliation, but the systematic removal of any support system she might use to rebuild. Her attempts to contact old friends were met with silence or outright hostility. Later that evening, Ethan visited his old SEAL team's regular gathering spot, a private club where warriors could speak freely. The team had integrated smoothly into his operation over the years, each member finding a role that utilized their unique skills. "Did you hear about Slick's latest prison incident?" his former commander asked. "Broke both legs falling down the stairs. Third accident this year." The team shared knowing looks. Prison was meant to be Slick's punishment, but that didn't mean it had to be comfortable. Regular reminders of his vulnerability helped ensure his continued silence about certain matters. Speaking of accidents, another teammate added, "That Russian oligarch who tried to poach the Bear last month? His yacht had an unfortunate explosion. No survivors." Ethan nodded slightly. Loyalty went both ways in his organization. The Bear had proven his worth countless times, and any attempt to turn him was met with swift, decisive response. A week later, Ethan sat in his home office, reviewing surveillance reports. His new house was a fortress disguised as a luxury residence, with security systems designed by the best minds in the industry. A notification popped up. Isabella had attempted to create a new social media account. Within minutes, it was flagged and shut down for fraudulent activity. Another small reminder that her past would never stay buried. Captain Petrova's investigation files appeared next, obtained through less than legal means. She was thorough, he had to admit. Years of suspicious incidents, mysterious disappearances, and perfectly timed coincidences all pointing to him. All circumstantial, all unprovable. The Bear's latest report followed. Slick had received another visitor in prison, a journalist working on a story about high society crimes. The reporter's laptop suffered a catastrophic failure shortly after. All notes and recordings lost. Message received. Marcus arrived with more updates. "That hedge fund manager who tried to blackmail us? His evidence disappeared, along with his offshore accounts. He's looking at federal charges for tax evasion. Make sure his legal team gets an anonymous tip about plea bargains," Ethan instructed. "I want him focused on saving himself, not seeking revenge." They had learned that complete destruction wasn't always necessary. Sometimes, carefully applied pressure achieved better results than brute force. The trick was knowing which approach each situation required. A text message lit up Ethan's phone. Dr. Reed requesting one final session before her retirement. He agreed immediately. Their conversations had evolved from therapy to strategic discussions, her insights helping him navigate the moral complexities of his chosen path. "You've built something impressive," she noted during their meeting. "But at what cost?" "Everything has a price," he replied. "The question is whether it's worth paying." And was it? The revenge, the power, the constant vigilance? Ethan considered the question. "I lost my illusions about normal life, about trust and redemption. But I gained something more valuable, clarity. No more pretending to be less than I am. No more hiding my nature." Dr. Reed nodded thoughtfully. "The security guard was a mask, but the Wraith is who I've always been. A predator who protects his own, punishes betrayal, and never forgets a debt, good or bad." The next morning, Ethan received another report about Isabella. She had met someone, a middle-class accountant who knew nothing of her past. For a moment, he considered intervening, destroying this chance at happiness like all the others. But he decided against it. Let her have this small comfort, this tiny slice of normalcy. She had learned her lesson thoroughly. The expensive clothes, jewelry, and luxury lifestyle she had once taken for granted were now distant memories. Her new life was a constant reminder of the consequences of betrayal. The Bears' weekly check-in brought more news. Reyes has withdrawn his parole application, claims he needs more time for spiritual reflection. Amazing how persuasive anonymous threats can be, Ethan remarked. Anything else? Your ex-wife's new boyfriend. Want him investigated? Basic background check only. If he's clean, leave them be. She's not a threat anymore. The Bear understood. Their retribution had never been about preventing Isabella's happiness. It was about ensuring she never again had the means or opportunity to harm others as she had harmed Ethan. Captain Petrova's latest surveillance report landed on his desk, courtesy of his sources in her department. She had shifted focus to other cases, but still maintained a casual watch on his activities. It was almost a game between them now, predator recognizing predator, each acknowledging the other's territory. As night fell over the city, Ethan stood at his office window again. Below him, a security guard made his rounds in the building where he had once played that role. The memory brought no nostalgia, no regret. That life had been a chrysalis, necessary for transformation but meant to be discarded. The Wraith had emerged stronger, more focused, building an empire on the foundations of loyalty and controlled violence. His enemies were dead or broken, his allies bound by respect and mutual benefit. Even his past betrayal had been transformed into a source of power, a reminder that trust must be earned and betrayal must be punished. In the end, the Wraith hadn't just survived. He had transcended, becoming something more than a legend or a codename. He had become a force of nature, dispensing justice and vengeance, protecting his own while destroying those who dared cross him. And somewhere in Phoenix, a former social media queen served coffee to strangers, counting tips, and watching her dreams of redemption fade like morning mist. Her punishment wasn't death or imprisonment. It was being forced to live as the kind of person she had once despised, knowing that her fall from grace was entirely of her own making. The perfect revenge, Ethan reflected, wasn't just about destroying your enemies. It was about making them live with the consequences of their choices, day after day, with no hope of escape or redemption. In that respect, his victory was absolute and eternal. The serpent had not only risen, it had evolved, becoming something stronger and more terrible than before. And in the shadows of his new empire, the Wraith continued his watch, ready to strike at any threat to the order he had built. Justice, after all, never sleeps, and neither did the predators who served it. And there you have it. Another story comes to an end. What did you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this story, consider joining our community by subscribing. It means the world to us. For more stories like this one, check out the recommended videos on screen, and I'll see you there.